Hi, my name is Mike Lee and have another video for you today. And this time I'm going to go back into character defenses. I was focusing on the Bible a bit, which we're going to do more of. And even the character defenses and actually all the videos relate to the Bible. It's the same understanding, but it just permeates everything. So, a better understanding of psychopaths and narcissists. Okay, a lot of the men tend to have a more psychopathy than the women, because the men tend to be usually the head. So when the head is disconnected from the body or not grounded, there's a tendency for the man to have psychopath tendencies. Everybody to a certain psychopathic tendencies. Everyone to a certain extent has built-in narcissism and psychopathy. It's just the level of psychopathy and narcissism that certain people have, which is the distortion of the body, the disconnection of the body. They lose touch of the reality that they are the masculine head and torso is feminine, and these work in unison. Most people never even think about this, but this is what it is. The way the psychopath interacts with someone is different than like a regular person would interact with someone. But the psychopathic person cannot be the psychopathic person without the enabler counterpart. So this psychopath does not form and perfect without the enabler. The enabler perfects the psychopath. And similarly, the enabler perfects the narcissist. A psychopath is an unsuccessful narcissist. The narcissist, the person that loves themselves and everything is to feed them the sense of self and their superiority, again, is fed by enablers. The psychopath takes a more active approach. The psychopath likes to create dominion, and it intentionally creates dominion. Like it wants to push you down. It wants to say, I'm right, you're wrong. The narcissist is like a secondary dominion. It provides the atmosphere that you will put yourself under the dominion. It's like a rock star who's at a concert and an attractive or a fan girl to this rock star is there, and he might make a comment to her like, if you were to do this, we could spend some time together, and she will throw all logic out the window and put herself under the dominion to be with the narcissist. So she'll sacrifice her own self for getting the prize. And what the narcissist, there is only the narcissist. That's it. Everybody else has to service the narcissist. If you're in a room and there's a narcissist in the room, that person wants to suck up all the attention. Now, women, because attractive women in their youth have a lot of narcissism. Not all, but it's very hard for an attractive woman not to be narcissistic, because she has tons of enablers. Maybe disenfranchised men that really are young. They really can't get their footing in the world, so they glorify this attractive woman, and the attractive woman now has narcissistic characters because she's separated from herself. You see, both the psychopath and the narcissist, the head is separated from reality or the body. They are not grounded. So the psychopath side, the psychopath will do bad behavior to get the attention, and this creates a division, and then they cannot feel the pain that they have. So if you're the enabler to the psychopath, you actually are holding their evil. That's why, another reason why when I'm talking with people, that, like, if I'm working with someone, I tend not to ask them questions, because by asking them a question, it's a 99.9% possibility that they're going to lie, because they're going to want me to like them, and not because that they're attracted to me or anything. If you ask a woman a question, sometimes she'll answer you based on, what makes her look good. She might not give you the answer that is the truth, because that might not let her look good. So why would you ask her a question then? You're forcing her to lie. You've become the enabler, and she's becoming the psychopath or narcissist. The narcissist doesn't have to do the same behavior as the psychopath to create the dominion. It's more natural for them, and they need that attention. If you are in a relationship with a narcissist or a psychopath, you are feeding someone into their delusion. You are part of the delusion. You perfect the psychopath. That's why whenever you see big psychopath people or narcissists in the world, you got to look for the enablers, because the enablers are hidden. Because an example of this, I just love this example, is Steve Jobs. And I remember Steve Jobs, when he was alive, all you talk about is everything that he did. And then after he died, and finally you hear about John Ivey. And John Ivey was the designer genius of Apple. It was John Ivey. But you never heard anything about him. In fact, the only time you ever heard about him was a video when they were selling the new iPad at the time, and they actually had John Ivey, and they had every character defense distortion in every head of the department. The head of software he had the psychopath eyes, those gigantic psychopath eyes. The head of manufacturing had the fire plug look, like the head is going down like a tank of a guy, and John Ivey, who you feel like he's like in the sky when he talks, like snowflakes. So you had different character defenses represented in just one video. I thought it was absolutely spectacular. I had done a video on that many years ago. I'll look for it again and maybe do a secondary video on it. But the idea to understand the psychopath and the narcissist and your relationship to them is going to help you understand how you contribute to that situation. How you contribute. And when you're away from the psychopath and the narcissist, when someone is in a relationship with a psychopath and narcissist and they break from that relationship, there's a tremendous desire to rekindle the abuse. Tremendous desire. It's like almost it's masochistic. So if someone's in a relationship with a psychopath or a narcissist and something happens and they split, the enabler will try and find any excuse to contact the narc or psychopath. Any excuse, and to the point that she'll, and mostly women do this in the relationship. What will she do? Article left behind in the house. In house, they forgot something. So now the enabler will use this opportunity to contact the psychopath or narcissist to tell them, hey, look, you left something behind in the house. That's a trap. That's a covert narcissist now. Remember, a lot of enablers are covert narcissists. They are also just as guilty as the visible psychopath. So, article left behind in the house, that's an excuse. A welfare check. A dumb question. The welfare check to see if they're still alive. I haven't heard from them or something. Or a dumb question or answer for something that happened and you never gave an answer to them. They will find any excuse to contact the narcissist and the psychopath. When this enabler contacts the narcissist or psychopath with this covert narcissism in their motivations, they are putting themselves back under the dominion. Under their dominion. And it's not love. It is absolutely not love. There is no love when there's narcissism and psychopathy and enabling in the mix. It's only will. No love. Only will. Because the will is making the enabler put themselves under dominion to get back and hook up back with the narcissist or psychopath. This will is also the same will that has these women crying and they're fake tears. They're not real tears because it's not love. It's an imagination of femininity and crying, but it's not. It tricks you. It tricks you. And a lot of videos, make it seem like you can just will yourself out of this. Oh, you could just do this or do that. Now, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. What you have to do is you have to root out your enabling. You have to find the enabling inside you and look for it, examine it, and get rid of it. Because if you blame the narcissist and the psychopath for the relationship, if you're with them for over 1 year, you are delusional. You are absolutely, positively delusional. The narcissist or psychopath leaves many, many red flags. More than enough within the first year. A lot of fighting, violence, a lot of things, a lot of sneaky stuff that they do and say. And as the narcissist and the psychopath are doing these things, it looks like they do it more and more as time passes. It's as if that this is their business card. And in the Garden of Eden, what we're supposed to do is stomp on that serpent. When we see narcissism and psychopathy, we have to bring that back down. If you're in a relationship with someone, okay, and this person is displaying narcissism or psychopath, what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to pull their head down. That head of theirs has to come back down. This is how you ground them. And you ground them by saying no. If you do not ground the psychopathy or narcissistic tendencies, then what you're doing is you're going to help elevate it. And if you're going to help elevate it, it's like the judgment then falls upon you, because now you are guilty of this person's sin. This is really, you really got to get this. The enabler experiences the judgment of the guilt of enabling the psychopath to reach to the heavens. Because if you reach to the heavens, they're trying to be like God. If you keep them away from the heavens, then they can be normal. But they're not going to keep you around, or the fear of getting rid of you is the reason why you enhance, perfect, and enable the psychopathy and narcissism in somebody. Because of fear. And fear breeds, and I said this before too, will. Fear breeds will. And will breeds fear. You know, war on terror. You heard that in the news all the time. You know, we're going to have a war on terror. You know, if you ever put on the news, everybody's dying, everybody's doing this. You know, we're scared of the Russians. The Russians are coming. They're coming. Everybody's coming. Putin's going to come and get you. No. So what's the opposite of this? Courage. Faith and courage. Faith breeds courage. And courage breeds faith. This is a positive feedback loop. This is positive. It's almost like a book. You know? It's almost like a book. The first half of the book and the second half of the book. Fear breeds will. Will breeds fear. And biblically, faith breeds courage. Courage breeds faith. The reason why the enabler gives more is because fear of losing them. And the narcissist banks on that. They surround themselves with people that say yes. Yes, and then they become the emperor with no clothes on. I love using Donald Trump as this. Because I deal with a lot of very powerful people in my audio installation business. And I take away, you see this guy? Yeah, I ground them right away. I ground them right away, and I lose customers when I do that too. And you know what? Don't really care. Because if you do this, if you're in the truth and you speak the truth, what ends up happening is you're going to have more peace in your life. When dealing with, like, let's say, you could do this in business, in relationships. Let's talk about business. Have been around plenty of business owners and wealthy people, and they kind of want you to say yes all the time. And if you say no, they get rid of you. They get rid of you. So you have to sacrifice truth for money. If you're in work and you're sacrificing truth for money, you will not sleep well at night. I don't care how much money you make. You will have your spirit gnawing at you. And one day, it's all going to be taken away. Or the pleasure is going to be taken away. Because here's what happens. When you have the psychopath or narcissist and they're kept on being fed by enablers, then the judgment then is upon you. A woman that enables a narcissist or psychopath. I love this. They have these dating things where they talk about OnlyFans girls, and they have these conversations with these stupid podcasts, and they bring the same type of girls. They bring these girls that are either OnlyFans, strippers, and it's like they're trying to convince them and talk to them and explain to them why they should lower their standards and why women should lower their standards and all this. And it's really funny when you observe the interactions, because a lot of the women there, they're getting a lot of attention. So they become narcissists, and they punish or seek to punish the men until they see the man that has more value than them, or the value that they want. Then they become the enablers. You want to stay away from people that you have to enable. You want to stay away from them. But how are you going to do that if you have been trained as an enabler? This is the big key. I feel, today, because of the computers, there's going to be so many, and social media, there's going to be so many dysfunctional people that do not know how to deal with someone in person. They're going to be highly emotional, no container, and they won't be able to take on anything. They become very twitchy. Like the light, it's like a keg of dynamite. They'll go off at any moment. Very fragile. Our society now is very fragile. It's very fragile because you're like the Western governments are making the people impotent. They're making the people very fragile and fearful. And if you got fear, you're going to breed will. So when I'm talking about this topic, it's very easy to take this same individual relationship between a narcissist psychopath with the enabler and magnify it to a country and its people, a country and other countries. It's the same pattern. It's the same pattern. Look at what's happening now with the United States. It's a psychopath and a narcissist that doesn't have the same power. The United States has become Karen. They're looking to start fights with China, which we will lose, and Russia, which we will lose. We cannot beat Russia. We cannot beat China. Russia and China will exist after the United States is destroyed, because the United States has become Karen. They are going to eat their own people to maintain the status quo. And this narcissist is the guy, out of spite, will drill a hole in his own boat because he is delusional. And now the United States is delusional because the people are enabling stupidity. The United States has no business in Russia, has no business in China, has no business in Ukraine. But what the psychopath, if no one tells the psychopath or the narcissist no, they will continue. And the first no that the U.S. is getting is Russia. And good for them. They are saying no to globalism. Now, what does that have to do with the psychopath and the narcissist and the enabler? Well, the United States has been lying to its people about what's going on in Ukraine. And the people eat it up. They don't really care to search it out. It's the same as a relationship that an enabler has with a psychopath or narcissist. Whatever the narcissist and psychopath says becomes the truth of the enabler. And the enabler must defend that lying truth. It's not a truth, it's a lie. But they defend it. If you have somebody believe something, they will defend that belief. Why? Because it's rooted in the will. You see, when you're in truth, When you are in truth, you're in a sense refining gold. Because as you go through life, all of a sudden a truth pops up that you didn't know before. And once that truth pops up, now your direction changes. Because you can no longer continue the path that you were in. You're changing your path. Another truth comes. You change your path again. Because truth separates the delusion. However, if you're going to sacrifice the truth, then the ego is not challenged. The ego is not challenged, and you do not grow. You are the same. That's why when you have a narcissist and a psychopath and they're challenged, at the end they end up like a 5-year-old child or a 3-year-old child. You know, one other famous person, I'm not being treated fairly. You know, you'll know who that is. I talk about them a lot. Truth refines our inner self. If we hold on to the truth, that's why the Lord's Prayer talks about, lead me not into temptation, but deliver me from the evil. We can't get to the truth unless we are led to it. And we are always in a position where every day is like the Garden of Eden. Every day is like the Garden of Eden, where we're going to sit there and someone's going to offer us a lie, and then are we going to accept it or not? And that's what we have to do. We have to see, to be in the truth, we have to be able to discern the let me go. Okay, so let's go to the Lord's Prayer. We have to discern where the serpent is and stay away, and and step on their heads. So let's read the Lord's Prayer. Our Father, who in the heavens, high above. Just think about that. Hallowed, holy be thy name. Thy reign come. What's the reign? The reign of the heavens. Thy will come to pass, as in heaven also in the earth. Our appointed bread give us today, and forgive us our debts, as also we forgive our debtors. And mayest thou not lead us to temptation, but deliver us from the evil. You see, the lies and the delusion becomes the evil for us, because thine is the reign of truth and power, and the glory to the ages. Amen. For you see, if you're in a relationship with an enabler, or you're in a relationship with a psychopath or a narcissist, you are in a delusional state. You are being led there. You're going to be imprisoned there. When you come to the truth of something, you have to change your course. You have to burn up whatever was before in the lie, and you will be refined more and more like gold. If you do not, if this is not done, then you will become the ash, because you will not grow, you will not get truth, and you will be in delusion. And the delusion does not let you be happy. Psychopaths, narcissists, enablers, none of them are happy. They're just not. To be in a better place in life, once you come to a truth, you have to alter your course. You have to burn up everything that was before, that was the lie. That's why you refine gold. You take out the impurities. So God will always give you that truth, but you might not see it. You better pray you get truth and not delusion, because delusion will become your undoing. Delusion will not allow you to have a good life, pleasing to God. May God bless you. Amen.